Hello, my most beautiful, amazing, wonderful subscribers, friends ever. How are you doing today, gorgeous? Y'all, for today's video, I wanted to do something that I saw on TikTok. I want to do half my face with my least expensive makeup and then half my face with my most expensive makeup to see if we can tell a difference between the two sides and which one is actually going to be worth your value. So you want to see what I use and the price points between the two because they are varying. Like, ooh, well then definitely keep watching. Alrighty, so we went ahead and I started off with my brows because I don't have any drugstore brows to really kind of compare to. I just stick to my Benefit because it's what I know and love, and I do use a little bit of Milk makeup. But I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyes. So like I said, I saw this on TikTok where Michaela did a full face of using her least expensive makeup versus her most expensive makeup. And honestly, you truly couldn't tell the difference between the two. They looked almost identical. And the difference between the two is astounding. I think like her drugstore side or like her most least expensive side was like $120 and her most expensive side was like $1,100. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Now mine doesn't compare to like that because I'm not as bougie or as rich as Michaela, so I did the best that I could. But we're gonna do my least expensive on this side and my most expensive on this side. So we're gonna start off with the eyes. So on this side, we're gonna go in with Essence. This is called Taupe It Up. I'll have the price points listed right here for you guys. And this is a 6-pan eyeshadow palette. Now when it comes to Essence, Essence is one of the most affordable drugstore brands out there. They are super inexpensive. They have so many different products and sometimes they work great and a lot of times they don't. So we're going to be using this today to create an eye look. And the reason why I picked this one is because my most expensive palette, not including like my big Danessa Myricks or Pat McGrath, because I wanted to do something just super small and basic, is my YSL. This is going to be the mini clutch palette and it's going to look like this. So I wanted to kind of pick a palette that looks very similar in color so we can try to get somewhat similar eye colors as best as we can. But this one right here is my most expensive 4-pan eyeshadow palette. Like I said, I do have way more expensive palettes than this, but I wanted to just do something that's really quick and easy and kind of comparable to each other. So we're going to go ahead and go into this eye first. Now I'm just going to use the same eye base because it's just going to be really easy to keep this nice and fair. So we're just going to use the same eye base for both so that it's consistent. I'm just going with the Sigma eye base right here. This is in the shade Ignite. And you guys can use my code to save you guys 15% off when shopping anything at Sigma. I really, really, really love this eye base right here. Now I'm going to try to use similar colors. So on this side, we're going to go into this little shade right here. We're kind of just pack this along the lid. Like I said, I'm going to try to use very similar colors so the palettes or the look is somewhat consistent, because then it's going to be really off and I don't want to like judge a base on being really off. So we're just going to quickly go into that. I love doing challenges like this. I think challenges are always so much fun. So I do have another TikTok challenge. Ooh, there's a lot of kick up in this that I want to do after this. So stay tuned. So we're just going to kind of put this all over the lid. Wow, this has like no color to it. That has like barely any color. I think I'll take a little bit, just a little bit of this gray color right here, just to add a little bit more color to it. It's kind of like a light shade right here to kind of blend it out. I just touched the brush to my eye. Oh my gosh, it's causing my eye to water. Okay, so that's where we're at for this eye so far. Now we're gonna go into the YSL. Now they do have a brown tone, so I think I'm gonna dip into this shade. This is more of like a match, a shimmer shade, but you know, we're gonna try to make this work. And I'm just gonna kind of place this shimmer all over the lid. Oh boy, mix a little bit of the matte brown too. I have to mix a little bit of this in it. Okay, obviously they're two different colors a little bit. I'm gonna take this light shade right here to try to blend this out. Honestly, between the two, I really can't tell the difference like in formula. I feel like the Essence performed really, really nicely. It's laying down super beautifully. I'm not having any issues with blending whatsoever. It's just a really, really, really nice formula. Really nice formula. And the palette is so cheap compared to this YSL. And I'm trying to take the shade and kind of blend it on top so I can have a little bit more of a lighter coverage. But it just seems to only be like one matte and the rest are all shimmers. Lucky me. Then for this eye, we're gonna go into kind of a mix between this shimmer and this shimmer. We're kind of just gonna mix the two together. so. And we're going to start to place this all over the lid very, very lightly. Just going to kind of just dust it on here like so. And then I'm going to take this shimmer shade from the YSL. This is so pretty. And we're going to start to just do the same exact thing. So between the two sides, like which one would you guys say that you guys prefer more? Looking at it this way, I do think this one's a little bit prettier in my opinion, but I feel like you really couldn't tell the difference between like the two price points. Like, yeah, the colors look a little bit different, but like I feel like you really couldn't tell the difference between the two price points. You know what I mean? So what do you guys think? Let me know. I want to know. What do you guys think? Do you guys prefer side 1 or side 2? Let me know. Okay, now we're going to move on to the face. Now, this is where it's going to get rather interesting because I hope, well, one, I hope the shade matches are correct between the products I'm using, but two, I really just want to see the difference between how these all perform. So we're going to start off with primer. I'm going to go into my least expensive primer, and that is the Essence Poreless Partner Primer. This is a mattifying and blurring primer. I did declutter this, but I was able to save it because I pulled out items a while ago and I wanted to do like my least favorite products so far of the year. I did pull this out. I'm so glad I did because I still have this. So we're going to go in with half my face with this. I feel like this product did nothing for the pores. It's pretty heavily fragranced and I feel like it's just like a pretty smelling primer. It did nothing to, you know, mattify the skin. It did nothing to blur the skin. It did nothing for my face, and that's okay. Like, I didn't really expect too much when I tried this product out, but I don't know. I guess I kind of want a little bit more, but I kind of knew what I was getting because the product is so cheap that I kind of knew that, like, hey, there's a good chance this is not going to work. Usually when it comes to mattifying primers and blurring primers, I tend to not really go the drugstore route because those tend to not really work for me. I think the only one that truly did was like a Revlon one. The rest are just okay. Now for this side, we're going to go into my most expensive primer, and that's going to be the Tatcha, the Liquid Silk Canvas. Now, everybody raved about the original Silk Canvas. I at first didn't like it, but then I really fell in love with it. Does it do anything for the oil? It doesn't really do much for the oil, but it does help to blur the pores, making them look a little bit more softer. They're still going to be visible, but they do look just a little bit blurred, which I do appreciate. And it originally did come in a balm, but they did make it into a liquid primer. Now, I love the smell of Tatcha. Tatcha just reminds me of going to a spa and getting like a facial done. I absolutely love Tatcha. It's a very expensive brand, but it just has some really great products. And as of like the last 2 years or so, if not a little bit longer, they've really started to roll out products that also cater to oily skin and not just dry skin, which I truly do appreciate. Because like a long time ago, I did a review on the Tatcha Silk Canvas versus like Origins moisturizer or Origins product, and surprisingly that video got like 3,000 views for me being so small as I was at the time. But gosh, I won't forget how much I actually like love the smell of this. It smells so good. For foundation, my cheapest foundation that I have, and I'm so excited to use this because I really freaking love this foundation. There's something about this foundation that is just so beautiful. Do I get oily with it? Yes, I do. But like, it doesn't separate the makeup. It doesn't lift. It doesn't transfer really. It doesn't look all cakey and gross. It just still looks really beautiful even though I get oily. But it is the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. This is $8 and this is so freaking worth it. I have the shade called 25 Light Neutral, and I am so in love with this. So in love with this. I have been using this so much recently, and I'm going to continue to use this because I just think it's fantastic foundation. So when I saw this is my cheapest, I got super excited because I was like, yes, this is just a must, an absolute must, because it's just a beautiful foundation. So you guys ever have a chance to try it, I absolutely recommend picking up this foundation because it is just so pretty. So freaking pretty. And if you're oily, don't be scared by it because I am really oily, and if I really love it and can make it work even though I do get oily with it, you can too for sure. Because your girl is super oily and I live in a very humid, hot climate where I get oily, I get sweaty, and this thing is holding up so nicely to it, and I have really fallen in love with this foundation. She's just that queen. She is just that queen. Okay, so this next product I did not buy, but it was in a Poshmark mystery box, and it is the Chanel No. 1 foundation. This is like an almost $80 bottle foundation, which I would never really ever buy for myself because it's so expensive. And remember when I tried it, I was seriously blown away with how beautiful this foundation is. So this is one of those foundations that I don't use often. I use on special occasions because it really does help to contain the oil, helps to make my makeup last all day. It looks really beautiful on the skin, but it's so expensive that I don't want to go through it that much. So I do kind of savor this, even though I know I shouldn't. I do kind of savor this foundation, but it is just such a beautiful, beautiful formula. And honestly, for me, if I were to ever run out of this foundation, I would 100% repurchase it. Also, do we see how soft and blurred the pores look right now? That's what I mean. Like Tatcha, the silk canvas just makes my pores look soft and blurred. So nice. Also, the Chanel foundation smells so incredible. It kind of reminds me of the Dior foundation that I don't think it's a thing anymore, but the Chanel foundation just smells luxurious. It smells like it has a little bit of a hefty price point to it. And it's allowing me to live like my rich people skin fantasy because it is just such a beautiful foundation. Do we see this? So freaking pretty. Okay, so moving on to concealer. My least expensive concealer is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camel Concealer. I love this concealer. I think it does a great job at hydrating the under eyes, being full coverage. It's super inexpensive. There's so many different shade range you can pick with this. It's just a really, really nice concealer, and I have nothing bad to say about it. I actually kind of use this more than I use other concealers. I'm just gonna do like a couple dots. I almost put on the other side. Then for this side, for my expensive side, we have the Urban Decay Naked Quickie Concealer. I did not know this was my most expensive concealer, but to be fair, I don't buy a lot of concealer. Okay, so now that the concealer is set, I feel like, honest to God, you really can't tell the difference between the two sides. The eyes, sure, but the rest, you really cannot tell the difference. Okay, so moving on to bronzer. So for this side, we're gonna go into Essence. This is Baby Got Bronzer. This is gonna be in the shade called like Cinnamon Spice. This smells like watermelon, which is so freaking trippy that their bronzer smells like watermelon. I absolutely love this little bronzer stick. Mine is starting to dry out just a tad because I got it like a while ago. But this is such a nice little bronzing stick. It just blends out really nicely. It's such a beautiful coverage. I just really, really have enjoyed this particular Essence bronzer. And I've been very vocal about that since I got it, how much I really have enjoyed this bronzer. Like, look at how it's just melting into the skin. Like I said, the watermelon scent kind of throws me off because I'm just like, why? But it is such a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous bronzer. It's why I wanted to try like their blush sticks, but I could never find that way back in the day. So I just ended up just not trying it. But absolutely love the Essence Baby Got Bronzer. Such a gorgeous, gorgeous formula. And it's only $4.99. It's so cheap. So cheap. Now for this side, we're going to go into the NARS. This is the Laguna bronzer in the shade 01 Laguna. Love this bronzer. The way that this smells, oh my God, it just smells so freaking good. I can't get over how good this smells. Again, this is something that I got in a Poshmark mystery box, was this bronzer right here. Now this definitely has more of a cool tone to it, where if you guys saw that the Baby Got bronzer had more of a warmth to it, this has more of a cool tone to it, but it's still a really, really, really gorgeous formula. Again, it's going to just melt straight into the skin. Okay, so for blush, we have the e.l.f. This is the liquid blush right here. These are beautiful. I absolutely love the e.l.f. liquid blushes. e.l.f. just makes overall beautiful, fantastic products. They're so affordable and the makeup just speaks for itself. I'm using the shade called Peach Perfect. Clearly, you guys know that I have an obsession with like peach color blushes. I just think they're so pretty. Now, granted, I am going to go over it with setting powder, but this just kind of adds like a little bit of an undertone to it, and it really helps to hold on to the powder that I put on in just a little bit. But it just like melts straight into the skin. Super pretty, and I almost have like a sun-kissed glow on my face right now. Now for this side, we do have the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the matte blush one. I have the shade called Pink Pop. Now I do like these. I will say that this is kind of expensive for what it is. When it comes to Charlotte Tilbury one, look at that. Look how pretty it is. Almost like the exact same color. These dry so quickly, so you kind of have to quickly blend them out, but they're so gorgeous. Like, again, I feel like you can't tell the difference between the two sides. Like, come on now. So we have Charlotte Tilbury, we have the e.l.f. Charlotte Tilbury, e.l.f. Not too much of a difference. The only difference is like, what, $32 between the two? Very, very different price points. But on the face, you couldn't even tell that I'm wearing two different color blushes. I think the only difference is that this one has a little bit more shine to it because this one didn't dry down, where the Charlotte Tilbury is a matte blush, so it does tend to dry down. But other than that, the color, almost identical. I'm telling you, couldn't even tell. Moving on to setting powder. For this side of the face, we're going to go in with the e.l.f. HD Powder Foundation. This looks like this is going to be like super white cast on my face, but the powder is so like micro fined. It really helps to blur the face, like truly helps to blur. So I'm going to go into this Stinky Beauty blender, and we're going to take this and we're going to start to just layer this on. You're going to see how this just like melts, like seriously just melts into the skin and just gives me a really soft, focused, blurred effect. And I was so surprised. Like, I fell in love with this powder, and I think it's like a $6 setting powder, but surprisingly it just works beautifully. I mean, like, look at my face right now. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I have loved this HD powder foundation. It just so freaking stunning. Now for this side of the face, this is my most expensive makeup item I have ever bought myself, and it is the La Mer setting powder. This bad boy retails for $115. I absolutely fell in love with this. Will I repurchase this? 1,000%. It is so freaking good. Now this is one of those powders I don't use as often as I once did because it is so expensive, but the formula in here is incredible. It really just helps to give you a nice blurred, soft focus effect. It is such a beautiful, beautiful formula. So well worth the price point that it just makes me want to try more products from this particular brand. I know a lot of people think that La Mer is like overhyped. For me, I just think that it is so worth it. Like, if this is how the setting powder is, it makes me want to try like the actual like skincare. Because I've not tried the skincare minus like a few things that Paige had given me. Paige had let me try, but they are very, very, very hefty price point. I believe like a moisturizer is like $300. Like, you gotta have like FU money, you know what I mean, just to go blow on $300 moisturizer. Like, I could never. At least not anytime soon. But again, are we seeing just how beautiful the face looks? Like, I feel like truly you cannot tell the difference between the two right now. That's freaking wild. Okay, so for a bronzer, I'm gonna go back in with the powder bronzer. I'm gonna go into the Essence Sun Club Matte Powder Bronzer, or Matte Bronzing Powder. I don't know why it has the name matte and not like matte with the E at the end. Kind of weird, but we're gonna dip my brush into this. Again, this is one of those items that I did declutter, but I did pull out. I don't hate this bronzer. It just is not my favorite bronzer. I think of all the drugstore bronzers, I really prefer like Milani or like Physician Formula. They have fantastic bronzers. Essence, like powder one, it's all right. It's just not my favorite. Now for this side, we're going to go into my most expensive bronzer, and that is my Gucci bronzer right here. She is Gucci. She's Gucci. Now this one I'm going to go a little bit light because this one's a little bit deeper. So we're going to go very, very light to use today, but it's such a pretty, pretty formula. My beautiful friend Ashley got this for me, and I will be forever grateful for her. Okay, now that the powder bronzer's on, we're gonna move on to powdered blush. I'm gonna go in with this side with my NYX Sweet Cheeks Matte Blush. This is one of those blushes that, again, made it out of the declutter because I was like, you know what? It is really pretty. Let me give it one more chance. And I'm glad I did because it's a really pretty, like, dusty rose blush. We're just gonna take this, we're gonna tap this right here. This is actually gifted to me by Heather when we did a collab together. We did like a mystery box. This is what she got me. Super, super pretty. For blush on this side, we're going to go in with the Dior. This is the Backstage Rosy Glow Blush. This thing is so expensive for what it is, and I always forget why it's so expensive and so tiny. But then I put it on, I'm like, oh, that's right. That's right. She's a gorgeous, gorgeous blush. That's why she is so expensive, because she's worth it. I mean, granted, it's $40 for a single blush. Who am I to do that? But I did. And she's just perfection, though. Do you need this, though? Absolutely not, because you can still get a beautiful blush from a drugstore formula. you don't need to get a $40 blush. So for highlight, I do have like one single highlight, and I do have like a highlighter palette for this side, but it's my most expensive highlighter, so we're just gonna go in like one shade. But for the cheapest version, I was so excited because I absolutely love this highlighter. I think it's one of the prettiest highlighters, and I have talked about this highlighter for years. It's the ColourPop Flexterion highlighter. This is stunning, absolutely stunning. I think it's like $8 or $9. It is so freaking pretty, so freaking pretty. It's such a beautiful formula. The way it just like melts into the skin. It is just one of my favorite like drugstore highlighters because it just really just gives you such a beautiful, soft, like wet, moist, like wet glistening effect. Oh my god. And it lasts you like all day. I just absolutely love the Flexterion shade. Like, look at how pretty that is. If you guys have never tried the ColourPop highlighter formulas, I highly suggest that you do because they are just so freaking pretty. So pretty. I'm actually going to take a little bit of this too. Put this on my brow bone. Love that shade. Then for my most expensive side, we're actually going to go into the Natasha Denona. This is the Golden Hour Blush Trio. And I'm going to take this shade called Pearl right here. And we're going to use that for my highlighter today. Do the same thing. Okay, so here is the Natasha Denona side. Do you see how this just gives me like a nice glisten, almost like I'm sweating? And then we have the Flexterion. Like, so both look absolutely beautiful. I feel like they almost look like they're the exact same shade, and they're a huge price difference between the two. I would say like almost like a $44 difference between the two. Like, it's such a stark difference, but they look almost identical in the way that they just glisten and shine. It's beautiful. Both are beautiful. Both are really beautiful. Okay, so to move on to mascara, because I'm not going to do any liner today because I don't have like any really expensive liner besides like a black shade. We're just going to go into just mascara because I want to do more of a simple eye look. So for this side, we're going to go into the Essence I Love Extreme Crazy Volume Mascara. I went and bought a new one because I absolutely love this mascara. I think it's so freaking good. I will say that it is a little sharp. Like, it does have a little bit of roughness to the lid, but it's so nice. Like, it's waterproof, and since I have pretty long lashes, my lashes sometimes can go doop, not oop, and I need them to kind of hold up, so that's usually where waterproof comes in. But I always curl my lashes beforehand, and this just really helps to hold the shape. It's a really nice formula. I really enjoy it. Okay, so before I go into my second coat, we're going to go into this eye. Now for this eye, we're going to go in with my YSL mascara right here. This actually was gifted to me in PR, which I still don't know how I randomly get PR from YSL, but I'm gonna take it because they're very sweet that they do that, because, well, that brand is expensive. Okay, so here are both eyes. Okay, so here are both the eyes. I will say I like the Essence one more. I feel like this definitely like separates the lash a bit more and lifts them. I think the YSL one's really pretty, but this one did transfer just a bit. But honestly, I think both are great. I personally always prefer drugstore mascara over high-end mascara. I think drugstore mascara is where it's at. Like, my favorite right now is the Maybelline Firework Mascara. If it's not that, then I love like the Maybelline Panorama Mascara. I do love Benefit mascaras. They have fantastic mascaras, but most often than not, I will always choose a drugstore mascara over a high-end mascara. I just feel they like supersede the high-end. So that is where we are right there. So for the lips, I'm only going to use like 2 different lip products. For this lip, we're going to go in with the Revlon. This is going to be the Color Stay Long Wear Lip Liner. We're going to use this to line my lips and then slowly fill them in. Now you guys see how I do slightly overline my lips. This is going to be in the shade called Sienna. And then for my other side, my high-end side, we're going to go into my Charlotte Tilbury. This is going to be the lip cheat in this shade called Pillow Talk 2 Medium. We're going to use it. We're going to use this to line my other side. Slightly different shade variations, but that's okay. Personally, in my opinion, I do think that the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners are overrated. I don't think you need to have a $25 lip line, in my personal opinion. I think lip liners are I think lip liners don't need to be that expensive. Like, I think the Revlon is more creamier than this one is. Like, granted, my favorites still are like the Jaclyn Cosmetics or Jean-Luc, but I've really been enjoying like the ColourPop lip liners, and I think those are like $10 to $11. They're really, I think those are anywhere between like $8 to $10. Super inexpensive. They work just as well as like high-end liners. I don't think you need like a $25 lip liner, in my opinion. Now for the lips, we're going to go into one of my favorite lip glosses from the drugstore, and that is going to be the Clean Fresh Yummy Gloss from CoverGirl. I have almost every shade of these now. These are incredible. They're so high shine. They smell fantastic. They do have different scents depending on what you get, but they just last me all day. I absolutely love these glosses. I'm going to go into the shade called Let's Get Physical, and we're going to put this right here. This is such a gorgeous, gorgeous formula. This smells like coconuts, and this just is so pretty. It's just so pretty. I love the ColourPop. I love the CoverGirl Clean Yummy Glosses. I've been talking to you guys about these since last year. Freaking fantastic. For this side, my like my gloss that's going to be like the expensive gloss is going to be the Lip Glaze from YSL. Right here, this is supposed to be like a balmy gloss. She's pretty. She's really pretty. But she's also like expensive for what she is. Like, she is. She is. Now to finish off, we're going to go on this side of the face with my Essence. This is the Fix and Last 18-Hour Fixing Spray. Ooh. And then we're going to go use the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush Flawless Finishing Spray. Now my full size, I can't find my full size. It's somewhere, so I'm just using my little travel size, but I do have the full size as well, so that's why I'm making it this one. So this is the final look right here. What do you guys think? Which side do you guys think personally looks better? The least expensive side or the most expensive side? Now, I did the math for you guys. So this least expensive side for the full face of makeup that I'm wearing right now retails for $87.93, not including tax or anything like that, but this full face right here is $87.93. Now this side, y'all, this side retails for $727. Like, that is intense. That is extreme. Can you like seriously tell the difference between the two? Besides the eye color and the lip color, I cannot tell the difference between the two. I think both sides look absolutely beautiful. And this just goes to show you that you do not need the most expensive makeup out there to create a full face of makeup. You can achieve a beautiful full face of makeup with the most least expensive products out there. You don't need to have every single high-end or luxury product that gets launched. You don't need it. Drugstore works just as well, if not better, some of the times. So this just kind of goes to show that you can do a beautiful full face of makeup on a budget. You don't need to have the most luxurious brands out there. So I love both sides. And I think if I had to pick out of the two, I'm kind of leaning towards this side a little bit. I'm kind of leaning towards my least expensive side right here. Like, I think this is really pretty. I probably just changed the lip color, but I'm kind of leaning towards this side. Take the lip from the side over here, and I pick this side. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Which side do you guys pick? So that, my friends, is it for today's video. I'll make sure I link all the products that I use down below if you guys want to check them out. And as always, thank you guys so much for being here. Whether you guys like this video, you guys gave this video a thumbs down, you guys subscribed, you guys did not subscribe, although why y'all would not want to subscribe, right down here, the little subscribe button, and join the little beautiful community of friends that we have here. Beats me, you could be my friend. Also, I do have another channel, although I have not posted in forever, but it is our Florida Life that I have with my amazing husband Corey. And I also want to give a huge shout out to my amazing, wonderful, beautiful Patreon members you guys see right here, and to you guys. Just thank you guys so much for being here. Whether you guys, you know, like I said, liked my video, you guys did not, you guys subscribed, you guys did not, either way, I just love and appreciate each and every single one of you. So with that said, my most beautiful, gorgeous friend, thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I'll see you guys in my very next video.